Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a Friday evening, and yes, you are absolutely in the right place. Welcome to the regulars. I'm Cody Decker.
I'm Tanya Ray Fox, and this is a Friday to beat all Fridays. We are in full Friday mode. I feel like this show is going to reflect Friday mode right now, to be quite honest. We got a lot going on.
Yes.
We also, as we were, as we always do, we go through the rundown ahead of time. And there were a couple of things, I don't know if you've seen, because you've been working really hard, breaking news stuff that we're not getting to in the show that we might as well just kind of... I
Yes.
want to tell you about it off the top.
Well, can I take a guess of what one of the things are?
Yes.
Oh boy, oh boy. I think it's time we take away Tiger Woods' his license. I don't know. I just
Tiger's
think
a menace to himself, others, and society.
he does not have Elin to blame chasing him down a road this go around, does he?
He really doesn't. She's scot-free on this one. It's genuinely a little concerning. Like, I am by no means a person who's a stan of athletes very often.
No.
So I don't need Tiger Woods to be like an incredible person to be like, oh, he was a great golfer. I also feel perfectly comfortable to critique professional athletes, even
As
if they
you
are
should.
goats. He's not well.
No.
Like this is it's sad. It's scary. Like this man kind of has put himself in situations where it's not only is he risking his own life, but other lives.
Yes.
Another car crash, and a dangerous one at that. So we're not going to be talking about that, but just off the top, Tiger Woods was about to debut too. He was preparing to.
Well, that's the rumor, depending on who you ask, because there was the wonderful thing that was put out by the president of the United States when he went on the Five on Fox, because the guy just loves him some TV and wanted to break some news like, yes, I'm gonna be there, but I'm always a big fan of Tiger, but he's not gonna be playing. He's gonna be there, but he's not gonna be playing.
Oh my
and
God.
that's what he said. So I'm like, wow. Apparently the
But
president
he
just.
also doesn't know what's. I mean,
Oh no,
the
he's
president
so
doesn't know
honest
what's going
all the
on.
time. So.
Well, did you see the pen thing? He went on like a 4 to 5 minute rant about pens that like just did not end.
Dude,
The gold $1,000
everything
pens.
the man does and says goes on forever, and it doesn't make a damn lick of sense. I don't know if you heard, we have been in a war that isn't a war that we won, but need help, but don't need help, but need the Strait of Hormuz open, but it doesn't need to be open because we don't use
'Cause
their
it's
gas.
already open.
But we need help from our allies, but our allies don't need to give us help, so thus we don't need them anyways, and it doesn't matter because we already won the war. I'm literally
I know.
quoting his entire tweet thread on whatever
Yeah.
the hell that stupid app he has is.
Yeah. And you know what? It all makes total sense. The other thing that we aren't hitting but did break just before this show is that the Connecticut Sun were reportedly, this is what I read from my report on my update, that they were sold and will be relocated to Houston and become the Comets,
Okay.
which is pretty wild. I feel really, really tough for any fan base that loses a team, especially right now with the WNBA catching
Booming
steam
the way
they
it
are.
is, yeah.
For Connecticut to lose a team is pretty brutal. So obviously always happy for Houston sports fans. They're a good group of fans down there, but that's getting a team back after losing a team, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be hitting on that. We will be talking about some more serious kind of subjects today, but I didn't want to get into the show because those are two pretty big stories. That
Pretty
are,
big. And, the Tiger one was breaking. It started
Yeah.
as, an overturned vehicle. And I know what my thought was. And I was live on the air at the time when it happened.
Oh, okay. Were
so
you?
my thought process was, okay, I could say what I think it's going to be, but I'm like, I just want to make sure everybody's okay first. I want to make sure we got all the headlines. So
Yeah.
we just gave the information that we got live. And then finding out that there were no injuries, so I felt a little more confident and comfortable going like, you know what it looks like, dude. You know what it looks like.
What do you mean?
That it looks like if Tiger got involved in a 2-car accident on a very small lane highway in Florida, and there's an overturn, my first thought was somebody was drinking, and I'm hoping it wasn't Tiger.
Oh, he was.
I know he was.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
and then later on,
okay,
later
got it.
on, about 5 p.m., they came out and put out the statement. No, he was arrested.
He
yes,
was drunk. Yeah.
he blew triple zeros, and we're back at where we were about 5-6 years ago.
It's where I don't know that he's ever like fully gone on. It sucks. We know where and how Tiger may have developed some pretty severe
I saw the
dependence
HBO doc.
issues. And so it's a touchy thing. It's certainly not anything that other people haven't dealt with before. Lots of people have dealt with dependence issues after going through surgeries and getting on pain pills and whatever else. So there's no not to make light of it, but I mean, this is several times now at this point where it's like you are now there's no reason this man should be behind a wheel. It needs to be done. It needs to be done, and I'm sorry to say it.
Completely. But we'll go ahead and get into our stories. And I got to say, right out the gate, we are not starting at a happier place. I can't stress that enough.
It's getting worse right off the top.
I don't know what to say other than I will never, ever, ever understand the grift that has been perpetrated on the world of sports the way it has in the last couple of years. Thus, headline number one, Tanya, take it away.
The Olympic Committee, the IOC, has banned trans athletes from women's events. This is something they've been threatening, something they've been planning to do for a while.
Yes.
It's something that required a very specific way to decide how they were going to ban these trans athletes.
Not good.
Now let's make it very clear. They are banning trans women from women's events. This is not banning trans men from competing in men's events. As far as we know, that has not happened. For the record, there was a weightlifter named Laurel Hubbard who made history as the first openly transgender woman to be at the Olympics. That was in Tokyo of 2021. She did not medal, and she is the only known open trans woman to have ever competed at the Olympics.
Yes.
Since then, nothing. In either winter or summer.
And I want to make it abundantly clear, the last time we dealt with, specifically with the Olympics and the transgender panic that this, specifically, we're going to stay focused on this country.
Yeah.
Again,
well,
I'll never
by the way,
forget.
it should be noted, we have a very outsized influence on the IOC's whole process.
Yes, we do.
Especially because we have the next Olympics. So while this feels like a very U.S. based conversation we're going to have, it kind of is.
It is absolutely a U.S.-based conversation. And how did this conversation get so big? Well, if you remember in 2024, we had a very specific Olympic boxing match that led to maybe me losing every last ounce of respect I had for multiple people in this industry because they are either ill-informed, absolute fucking morons, or just evil, bigoted little bastards. And I'll never forget
all of the above.
Sometimes all of the above. And I don't know if one guy over at ESPN is any of those things, but I do know, I remember a tweet, protect our daughters. I'll never fucking forget it.
Dan Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky, who's having a great week, by the way.
We're not even talking about him
We're
in
not
media,
even
in media
getting
corner
to
because it's so stupid that, here's the thing that's happening is they have decided that they are going to test every single woman who will deign to enter the Olympics. They are going to run a gene test on a gene called the SRY gene. Now, the scientist who discovered the SRY gene, Andrew Sinclair, has in a few years ago, there was a sports organization that started using this type of SRY gene testing for this reason. He wrote an entire op-ed, an entire piece explaining and laying out why this specific gene should not be used for testing for this specific thing. Because this gene can be present in women without having their testosterone levels meeting any sort of standard male biological, level. It is not a gene that can test for athletic levels of testosterone. It is essentially, like he has said, this is simply like not a way to do this. And there are also all the ramifications of reintroducing any sort of testing on this front, sort of genetic testing on this front for all women.
Yeah.
They are not going to just be cherry picking women to test. They will be testing every single woman. Now, we know this has already affected intersex people like Caster Semenya.
Yeah.
We know this has affected Amani Khalif, who is just a woman.
Just a woman.
Regular, whatever. Again, like you are who you say you are to me. So if you say you're a woman, you're a woman. I don't fucking care.
I'm telling you right now, Khalif specifically.
Yeah.
When I say the amount of arguments that I got into with people who I barely, family members, I had this was the actual exchange. I saw a post by a family member. I texted him. I was like, take that down. You have no idea what you're talking about. So the response back to me was, so you think it's okay for men to beat up women? And I just said, Once again, your entire lining of questioning is based on something that isn't happening. So once again, shut the fuck up. And then he responded with the same thing. And I just responded, my God, I always thought you were an idiot, but this is off the charts. And I will not engage with you anymore. I haven't really engaged with this person all that much since.
Yeah.
Just because I was so angry about that particular rhetoric. Yeah. Because I was really scared that Khalif was going to end up going home to Algeria, where they really are not good to transgender people, and going to get her killed.
Yeah.
I was horrified that that's what the future we were about to watch.
Well, that's the thing, is because a lot of there's also the openness of being transgender.
Oh,
there's the openness of being intersex, or like, I mean, we're talking about like we're really invading people's health and their bodies in this way. Now, from the 1960s to the 1990s, so up until 1999, there were various levels of incredibly invasive testing on women's bodies, invasive gynecological exams, really traumatizing shit. And then they did eventually start using chromosomal testing on women to do the same thing that they're doing now. They moved from chromosomal testing to SRY, and then that was banned in 1999 because of the outcry from women athletes and scientists. There is no scientific consensus on any sort of gene testing or testing that would tell you specifically whether or not someone is too biologically male to compete as a woman.
This just doesn't exist.
So there's that aspect of it. If you want to be really, really technical, which a lot of people do, they want to be really technical. So there it is. There's no way to fucking do it. They aren't, and this is certainly not the way.
Not to mention, even if it was the way, what's the actual barometer? What's the number that makes you enough of a woman to actually proceed?
And that's where things get incredibly tricky. And the other part that's incredibly, here's the central question is, we know everybody's transphobic. This is the way their inroad that they have.
Thing to be.
It's so embarrassing. It's an inroad that they've taken. They're like, not only can we start to eliminate trans people, which is horrifying.
Yes.
This is like an attempt to genocide trans people by marginalizing them to the point of not being able to exist. There's also, when you start introducing this level of testing, when you start solving for a problem that doesn't exist, and by the way, trans women in professional and collegiate level sports is quite literally a problem that does not exist. They can be counted on two hands across all of college and professional sports. That's it. That is on the high end. There are just not a lot of trans women competing at high-level athletics right now.
There is not.
So we're solving.
There's not a lot of trans people in the world.
So we're going through very, very extreme measures to solve for a non-existent problem. Why would we take such drastic measures as the IOC, who are now influencing the NCAA, who now want to introduce this testing into the NCAA, the right-wing advocates on that front? What is their end game? Their end game is that this gives them an opportunity to invade and test and dictate women's bodies across the board.
Yep.
Right? So this is really what it comes down to, is not only can they be transphobic, not only can they come for the trans community, not only can they lean into the moral panic of that whole thing, but now on top of, losing abortion rights and medical care, on top of the lack of maternity health care, on top of everything else, now your body is up for scrutiny if you want to enter professional sports at the Olympic level. And I mean, I think we can understand that this is probably going to be spread more widely.
Yes.
That is what people are looking to do. Anytime something like this is going on where you're solving for a non-existent problem, you should be always looking for what exactly their end game is. So then where does it go from there? Because who are the women who actually are most likely to be scrutinized and pegged as trans or intersex or whatever else? This is something that happens to Black women a lot. High muscle mass women who are more masculine presenting just in gender appearance. There's a history in this country and other countries of using this kind of testing against Black women and women of color. That's who they'll come for as well. It's misogyny, it's sexism, it's patriarchy, it's racism, it is fascism. This is not like a tiny little drop in the bucket decision. It is going to have massive, massive consequences. And this is like, we have now gone back 27 years in time. We got rid of this in 1999 for a reason. The scientists have not reached consensus since then. It's like, this is a horrifying situation.
No, it is. And what, you know why? Forget the horrifying. How about the frustrating aspect of the nature? You know why we're doing any of this? Why any of this is happening? Because one fucking girl tied for fucking 5th.
You know, I would love to give Riley Gaines all the credit for starting transphobia, but unfortunately,
no, transphobia has already existed. But the way it's actually been in the mainstream for the last 5 years.
Sure, but I mean, that's the thing, is there was always going to be the boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
They chose transphobia. They chose their face of it, and she is certainly a hellish loser who I truly hope nothing but shitty things for.
Yep.
But like, this is across the board.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
Very an extremely obvious tactic, and one that too many people have fallen incredibly easily into without understanding the full ramifications. And the reality is, of course, they don't, because if you are a bigot, you will only see as far as your bigotry will let you see.
True.
So it doesn't matter if you're a woman whose kid might be getting gynecological exams at 12 years old so they can play fucking travel soccer. Because if you think that sounds crazy,
no,
you're
that's
fucking stupid.
That's what we're currently talking
Yes.
about. That's what's driving me absolutely nuts. That's what we're talking about. These are the same people that are constantly talking, well, yeah, I really want the Epstein files released, until of course they're not released, and like, well, there's a reason they're not releasing the Epstein file. All of you are just so full of shit.
And the thing
drives
is,
me nuts.
Think about what happens. When have you ever, and I mean, we're both like learned enough, when have you ever heard about a situation where they want to test you for a certain gene to exclude you from something that has gone well?
0.0.
That's eugenics. Straight up.
Yep.
So that's it. There's no time where you're like, well, we tested you for this gene to exclude you from this thing, and it's going to go really well for everybody involved. No, that there is a 100% failure rate of that being a good fucking sign.
Yep.
So I talked about this on my own content over the weekend, but this is one of the biggest stories in sports. It's one of the biggest stories in society right now, and while it's not going to be covered in mainstream media because God for fucking big.
No, can't talk about this.
I know it matters a lot.
No,
to a lot of people that
we have to
talk about it,
create
so.
we have to create that Cam Simpson is going to go before Fernando
Ty.
Mendoza. Sorry, that's how little I give a shit about him. I don't even know his first name.
No one does. Yeah.
I don't care. Like, every mainstream sports media has become the biggest clown show.
It's really bad.
Humanly possible, because there are really important stories out there right now that you will never know about unless you literally go so far out of your way to find them. And by the way, saying something like along the lines of like an ESPN that they don't have, they do. Like, Pablo Torre pops up in spots. He does some good work.
Yeah.
Clinton Yates does some good work, except he's no longer at ESPN.
I can't believe that. That sucks. Yeah, that really sucks. And the funny part is that actually takes us directly into headline 2, because this is something that I saw got sent the ESPN update, immediately felt the smoke explode from my ears like a sociopath. And I thought, let me turn on ESPN. Let me turn on Fox Sports. See, do you think they were talking about this?
I didn't know about this till you sent me the article. And by the way, I'm plugged in every single day. I read every news line that I could possibly get my hands on to know things as much as I possibly can. I didn't even know about this until you sent it to me. And when I say, holy shit.
Yeah. So the Florida Attorney General, who was nominated by Ron DeSantis and has worked for Ron DeSantis and actually ran his presidential campaign.
That went well.
He is calling on the NFL to suspend the Rooney Rule or face possible civil rights action. James Uthmeyer sent a letter to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell on Wednesday to express concern that the Rooney Rule, which requires teams to interview an external minority candidates for specific positions, this is his quote, blatant race and sex discrimination, and that hiring should be based on merit only. NFL fans in Florida don't care what color their coach's skin is. They care what color their coach is wearing, and that those colors are winning on the football field. The Rooney Rule and its offshoots are illegal in Florida. And the NFL responded that they acknowledged the letter, and the league is reviewing the contents of the letter. They said, we believe our policies are consistent with the law and reflect our commitment to fairness.
I'm already pissed off.
So yes, this guy is threatening essentially to take action under the Florida civil rights laws.
Because we're interviewing
against
too many African American candidates. That's why.
because we're there. He's saying it's racist against whites.
That's right. Because the most discriminated against people in America, for some reason, a good amount of people have convinced themselves that it's white Christians. And by the way, percentage-wise, how many white guys are the head coaches of NFL teams?
It's like over 90%.
Cool. Discrimination against them old whiteys. I am baffled.
We talked about this. 10 openings. Record number of openings.
Yes.
0 black head coaches hired. One was Robert Saleh, who is a Lebanese American.
Yep.
Very much not black. Very much not from Africa. Very much not the most marginalized group of people in the NFL. Very much not the 75% of the players who are underrepresented in the coaching staffs. Love Robert Saleh, but
So do I.
At the end of the day, I love that there's minority representation. Black Americans are the ones who make up the majority of the fucking labor force. They should make up a much bigger, significant portion of the, and that's why
Completely
they
agree.
put the Rooney Rule in place, was to say, we are clearly a bunch of racist white dudes. We're not getting dudes hired. Let's figure out a way. They institute this rule. Now, whether it's performative or not has been a fucking conversation off and on across the course of the history of the Rooney Rule existing. There are major issues with the Rooney Rule being even enough to combat this, because it's clearly not. There are sham interviews, there are sham hiring things that happen where it's like, well, everybody's interviewing, but are you actually interviewing in good faith? Are you actually considering these candidates for these positions? Are you actually doing the work to diversify your front office and your staff enough that these black coaches have an opportunity to make the impression that they need to make? There's all these fucking questions, but at the end of the day, what we know for sure is that there is definitely, and I don't know if there's a human being in America who could argue this, not an issue with white men getting discriminated against in the NFL coaching ranks. I don't even think MAGA people think that.
First African American head coach was hired 2 years after I was born.
Art
Here
Shell?
in
Art Shell?
Los Angeles, California, with my Raiders, Art Shell. 2 years after I was born. I don't know what to tell. Oh, and the number of African American head coaches after this, I think at the very height, at one time, I believe reached almost 20%. I believe there might have been a year or two where there was a slightly higher.
Yeah,
but we're
you
back
mean
to
in one season.
In one season,
right? It's. I think it's always the highest it got was about the.
Did it get higher than that?
I think the highest it got was about the same percentage as it is in the general population, not in the NFL.
Yeah, so it never really got up.
We were up to
all
like
that much.
8 black head coaches.
We got somewhere, but now we're back down again. We had 2 African American head coaches, both of which one was fired, the other was stepped down in Mike Tomlin. Oh, by the way, I mean, are we pretending that Mike Tomlin shouldn't have been arguably the sexiest free agent available head coach? Yeah. He doesn't currently have a job. Now, maybe he didn't go after a ton of jobs and wants the time off, and there's his argument of that.
But he did step down because of calls for his job, which, again, that you can argue the merits of why people were even mad at him. But the reality is, the one thing we know for sure about the NFL, if there is one thing we know for sure, it's that there's plenty of white men coaching.
Oh, yeah.
There are more sets of brothers at the head coaching position right now than there are, like, black head coaches at this point. Like, brothers. Wow. So what our guy is saying is, like, there's not enough DEI for the white man. It just happens that the Harbaughs have 2 of the most qualified football coaches in the history of the NFL.
Amazing, isn't it?
Isn't that crazy how that happened?
In all of America.
The Kubiak family is they're just cranking out these guys.
In all of America, there are no other coaches that could possibly be as good.
Yep. So no big deal. It just happens that an eighth of the NFL is related to each other.
It's exhausted, dude. I'm exhausted by it. It's just nausea. You know what? I'm actually mad at the NFL because if I'm Roger Goodell, and it's not even that I think Roger Goodell's all that good of a guy. I don't. I think he's probably evil. He's the commissioner of the NFL, for God's sake.
Not a big fan of commissioners. Yeah.
Not in general.
As far as like character, yeah.
That being said, Roger Goodell is a very powerful man and honestly could be one of the few that could do this. The fact that he didn't immediately make a video of said letter and tear it in front of the camera and sit and send the video back is insane to me, because that's what your response should have been.
Well, he never will, because there's a bunch of owners who he is ostensibly the representative of, who would love to never have to interview another black person.
Oh boy, is that true?
That's, so they're, do I think that the owners are clamoring to get rid of the Rooney Rule? Not
Clamoring's
necessarily.
not the word, but they won't be upset if it's
They
gone.
wouldn't be upset if it's gone. The fact of the matter is, what I don't think they like is attorneys general across the country telling them that they will take them to court over civil rights violations if they try to enact these things in their state.
Florida trying to enact anything civil rights is the most ass-backward sentence I've ever heard in my life.
You're giving black people too many interviews. I've never seen more. It is so crazy to me how many mediocre white men who look like they didn't quite evolve past the Neanderthal stage are terrified at the idea of qualified black men being in the same room with them, or qualified black women, or qualified people who are not white and do not have a fucking dick. They're terrified of it, because the only reason that they have any of the fucking opportunities that they do is because they are white men. They are underqualified fucking losers across the board.
Losers.
I mean, genuinely, if you made me guess how many white men who have a job right now are underqualified or should not have been hired to the position,
I'm gonna I'd
be at like 85%.
I was gonna say 50. I mean, I might be being generous.
I would be at 85%. I'm not even fucking kidding. And the people who are,
maddening.
they're like the good guys. They're like, fucking nurses and teachers. Like those people probably. They're probably,
It's just insane to me. It's just insane to me that we have just gotten to this point where the people that try to talk about being tough and the people that want to talk about being like masculine are just the softest, thin-skinned, little baby-dicked people with just fleshy sacks of where balls should possibly be.
Yes.
Yet they're more concerned with whether or not a woman has balls. It's just, these people are fucking broken.
And by the way, most women do have bigger balls than all of you.
These are facts.
Hopefully the SRY gene can find that out too, and you can all feel even more emasculated. You actual pieces of shit. Like,
unbelievable.
Exhausting.
I watched that fucking Manosphere documentary. You guys are bitches. Headline number 3, Tanya.
So the NBA is really obsessed with stopping tanking.
Okay,
this is like a weird new obsession with the NBA.
You know what? To its credit, I do. You might giggle at it, but I agree with this obsession. I actually really do.
We disagree on this.
I know we disagree on this, but I do see a world where this tanking can only become a bigger problem than it currently is.
Do you currently think there's a huge parity issue in the NBA?
No.
Okay.
I do think there is an issue, however, when you do have roughly 10 to 20% of the league trying to tank to get a better spot.
They're not trying to tank. This is where we disagree, and we can obviously talk about it as we go on. I genuinely just wish people understood that, like, there are going to be a certain percentage of teams in every single league that are just bad. And we have to, like, relax about it. Like, this idea that every single team that is bad is tanking.
That is fair. That is absolutely fair. No, I don't think every team is tanking, but we can agree that some teams do.
I would say there's about 3 teams right now that are like, if you're going to tell me they're tanking, I'm just not going to argue with you. Like,
my issue is, to this point, is not necessarily that tanking is the end all be all and the evils of the world. I honestly see those teams' plight an issue, because what other recourse do they have other than to tank to try to rebuild their franchise? We just watched the San Antonio Spurs do it. We watched them do it again 15 years earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's the recourse of what you can do to rebuild your franchise.
And also, like, I think tanking becomes an issue when you are, when I can look at your roster and be like, you guys should win more, right? Like, if I can look at your roster and be like, you guys are tanking, I'm not looking at the Charlotte Hornets like, wow, I can't believe you guys keep losing games. Like, I understand why you're losing games.
I'm kind of excited about the Charlotte Hornets' future a little bit.
Absolutely. But, like, there's very few times where I'm like, if you guys weren't tanking, you'd be that much better. Like, I think a lot of times we're just looking at teams that are horrible, who aren't trying to win more than they're capable of on a regular day.
Okay.
And so the anti-tanking, let's go through some of what they're trying to do here, because this is Adam Silver's new pet project. He is simply horrified by tanking. Now,
and here's
keep
the
in
good
mind,
news. Real quick, I don't know what these new measures are.
Yes.
These were announced today, and I haven't had a chance to see any of them.
Yes. So I'm going to read you each. There are 3 proposals. So I'll start with the first. Keep in mind, this is a league that is currently planning to expand.
Yes.
Okay.
By 2 teams.
So they're worried about tanking. These are what we're looking at. In the first proposal, 18 teams. So the bottom 10 that miss the tournament, and then the 8 that qualify for it, all will be part of the lottery, the draft lottery. The bottom 10 teams will all have an equal 8% chance of moving up in the lottery, with the remaining 20% of the odds being split among the 8 play-in teams in descending order from 11th through 18th. All 18 spots would be drawn as part of the lottery in that format.
Okay, so what they're saying is we're just expanding the lottery to more teams, thus
we're expanding the lottery to teams that make the play-in
that make
tournament.
the play-in tournaments. Thus, less odds for the teams that are quote tanking to get said pick.
And incentivizing teams to make the tournament.
Okay. A
little bit muddy, a little bit all over the place, a little bit. To me, all it feels like is like I still. So you tell me if this is after this first proposal. All I keep thinking is like, so you want bad teams to stay bad, because again, you only think this might work if you believe 8 teams are tanking, and I just don't. 8 teams are not tanking. Like they're just not. Like you're asking me if I look at a team right now that's really bad, right? And you say like, what's the most games you think they could have won if they were really, really trying? I'd say they could have won 4 more games. Like, what are we? They're not fucking suddenly playoff teams because I don't know.
I will freely listen. I understand the idea behind the proposal.
I don't mind that. Yeah, I don't hate where they're trying to
I
go,
see what they're trying to do, but it also, to your point.
But then Luka and the Lakers win the fucking play-in tournament, and they get like the first overall pick. Watch what happens to NBA. Oh my god!
Oh my god! People are going to lose their fucking minds. But I will admit, the play-in tournament this last year, the first year really had me. The second year, completely didn't have me at all.
No, but they're good teams generally.
They are, but I mean, winning the play-in tournament, getting you in it would add a little bit of extra zhuzh to the play-in tournament too. A little, not a ton.
It certainly would. That's why I think they're doing it.
So I don't hate it.
I do think that when it suddenly goes to the fucking Boston Celtics, while they have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, suddenly people are a little more fucking upset by this cute little stunt they're pulling.
Okay, no, see, here's the problem. There is going to be serious problems with each one of these, and we've already found out 3 big problems with just the first one.
Yeah.
Even though we both can see the first one being like, I see it, but are we creating 5 more problems by just solving this problem? Because I think we are.
I mean, imagine. All right, let's get to see. We'll go to
okay.
The second proposal.
I'm going to give that one a solid C+.
I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you're giving more of a D. I'm giving it a C. I'm going to give it a C.
Second proposal, 22 teams, the bottom 10 teams that missed the play-in tournament, the 8 that qualify for it, and the 4 playoff teams that lose in the first round will all be included in the lottery.
No, you can't do that.
And will be ranked according to their record across 2 seasons. The last part, weighting teams by their record across the prior 2 seasons, is how the WNBA weights its lottery system. Under that system, each team would need to reach a minimum win total floor in each season to mitigate the need to lose every game possible. For example, if the minimum floor for an individual season was 20 wins, a team that went 14-68 would be 20-62 for lottery purposes. And if a team wins 40 games one season and 20 games the next season, it would go in as 30 wins for the lottery. In this system, the top 4 spots would be drawn as part of the lottery as it is currently.
I quote Chevy Chase. I quote Chevy Chase in Saturday Night Live. I was to believe there was no math. Jesus Christ, that's just complicated for the sake of being complicated. Also, you're telling me a team that gets say the Celtics get knocked out in the first round this year, just out of, so now they are in the draft lottery. Give me a fucking break, guys.
And you've got now, what is it, 18 teams in the
draft lottery?
Come on.
Then just fucking, how about this? Just put fucking everybody in the draft lottery.
Like now we're
problem solved, I guess. I guess.
I actually genuinely at this, like after reading that one, I would say after that one, just hope the NBA Finals champions don't get a fucking first round.
That's it. Like that's honestly based on that one, which is so fucking complicated.
The fans will hate it because they won't understand it.
I don't understand it now, and I kind of understand it. But what we're really getting is roughly a few teams out from the playoffs that get knocked out in the first round, which, by the way, could just be luck of the draw. Maybe they have an injury happen, or maybe they just somebody accidentally ran into a buzzsaw or a team of chance out of nowhere. And then you got the play-in tournament, which is roughly going to be some of the same teams already.
Yeah.
And then you got the worst teams in the just fucking put everybody in it then. Like that's okay, that's stupid. I'm giving that one an F-.
Okay, I'm also giving it a 0 out of 10. The third proposal is a 5x5 method, sources told Shams Charania.
5x5.
In this one, the same 18 teams from the first concept, the bottom 8-10 that missed the play-in, plus the 8 that would make the play-in, would be entered into the lottery. The teams with the 5 worst records would then all have the same odds, with them descending from there, and there would be a lottery drawing for each of the top 5 picks in the draft.
Come on,
after those 5 picks are selected, there would be another lottery drawing for the remaining 13 teams. If any of the teams with the 5 worst records didn't land one of those top 5 spots, like last season when the teams with the first, the Utah Jazz, second, the Wizards, and fourth, New Orleans Pelicans, worst records all moved back to 5th, 6th, and 7th, respectively. The lowest they could end up in the second lottery drawing would be 10th, preventing a bad team from falling too far down the draft board.
F-. I
actually think this one makes more sense than number 2, but I still don't like it.
But neither are good.
No.
How about this? You know what? How about this? This is how we do it. I know how to solve the problem. We get a fucking turtle. We get a turtle. We put him in a room. We put logos throughout the room. Whatever he steps on first, that gets the first pick. Then whatever he steps on second pick. Just make it fucking random. You want to solve it? Just make it random.
What if we do like a Maze Runner situation for all the final bottom 4 teams, Maze Runner? Whoever makes it out alive gets the first overall pick.
Okay, I'm listening. Now I'm thinking owners. You put them in a Hunger Games situation. Give them some bows and arrows. Whoever comes out alive gets the first one.
It could be like a paintball Nerf gun situation where nobody actually has to die, but we're replicating the sort of,
But if we want to make them bows and arrows, I'm not against it either.
If he dies, he dies.
Listen,
sort of situation.
If it's good for Drago, it's good for me.
Exactly.
Everybody knows that. I've been saying that since a child.
I mean, at this point, let's really ramp up the stakes, because this feels like Adam Silver's having a mental breakdown.
No, this is not good. This sounds, honest to God, this sounds like Adam Silver is like just quoting the president's fucking Truth Social at this point.
It seems like he's having a Wolf of Wall Street moment.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Like he's on the Quaaludes. Like, are you fucking okay? Have we checked on Adam Silver? What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. Okay, guys. It's very clear we're not fixing the problem. All I've heard now out of Shams' mouth is simply this. We don't know how to solve one problem without creating 20 more.
We don't know how to solve this problem without potentially giving the Celtics or the Knicks or the Lakers also a chance at a first overall pick, which is like, good. Do it then, you fucking idiots. Wow. Because we've seen some crazy odds end up with the first overall pick. And we
saw it last year.
Yeah. That's what they were just saying. They're like, and this is how we prevent that from happening. No, you can't. You
can't
prevent
it from happening.
That's the whole point of odds. The lottery.
It's a lottery. That's the fucking word.
You're like, what if we opened it up to more teams to make it more confusing and less likely that a low team gets a good pick? So they're like, what if we keep the bad teams bad and force them to be a little bit less bad but not good? Because that's all you're going to get. All you are going to get from these shitty teams is that they are maybe slightly less bad, still not good, still not winning anything, still not making the playoffs, and you're taking away their chance at getting better. That is fucking insane.
You know what it reminds me of that joke from Jim Jeffries, where he's talking about the Second Amendment, and he was talking about, he's like, well, you can't change the Constitution. He's like, it's called an amendment.
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
It's an amendment. Like,
you amend the Constitution.
A dictionary can solve some problems today. Fuck, man.
It's rough, man.
Holy hell. Well, it's good to know that the people that are running sports are no smarter than any of you. I hope that's
No, I
helpful.
do. You know what we should do? We should come up with our own way to prevent taking and see if it matches up to Adam's.
I'm telling you,
well,
a turtle. Just put a turtle on the ground. I watch all these.
Turtle.
I watch a dog that with a bouncing ball that goes into a basketball,
like the puppy bowl where they race.
But I was thinking, how you see these when the people are trying to pick their brackets, they have a dog like a corgi at the top of the stairs, hit a ball, and it lands in a basket. Fucking pick them like that.
Or how the cats they'll swat whatever piece of paper is the
I'll watch that. I'll watch that.
Watch a cat decide the future of an NBA franchise.
I would kill to watch. I would much rather watch a cat determine the future of the NBA at this point than Adam Silver.
Oh, 100%.
Jesus.
Well, so that went about as well as I could have hoped.
Jesus.
I'm glad I was able to break all those to you individually. Let's move on to Media Corner.
Let's do it.
It's time for a little bit of old man, young buck beef. George Gervin, the Hall of Fame basketball player, 4-time NBA scoring champion, told ESPN that he was caught off guard when he learned that Bears quarterback Caleb Williams had attempted to trademark the Iceman nickname that Williams earned during the 2025 season for his late game performances, culminating with the Bears winning their first playoff game in 15 years. Now, George Gervin said, I've been the Iceman for 40-something years. I've never thought anybody would try to trademark it. He kind of knocked me out of the box. Now, on March 16th, Caleb Williams Holding Incorporated filed 4 trademarks applications with the United States Patent and Trademark Office related to the Iceman nickname. According to the trademark application, goods and services related to the name include athletic sporting goods and equipment, water bottles, t-shirts, etc. You know the whole deal. And then on March 20th, George Gervin, after learning about this, Gervin Interest LLC filed 2 trademark applications for Iceman and Iceman 44, the latter of which references the jersey number Gervin wore throughout his NBA career. His 44 has been retired by the Spurs since 1987. Now, before we get into the media part of this,
yes,
initial thoughts, just your personal thoughts on this very old man having a beef with Caleb Williams. Now, George Gervin, absolutely all-time player. He is so old that I don't even think I've seen a highlight. I'm not going to lie.
George Gervin earned that nickname, I believe, in the year 1985.
Really?
I believe so.
Wait, he was playing in 85?
Yes, he was playing in 85.
Shit,
if I remember correctly.
I thought he was older than that. Okay.
But I might be wrong. I might be very wrong on that year.
I might be thinking he's older than he is.
He might be, but I'm pretty sure he was the 80s.
Okay.
But
he said 40 years.
But do me a favor, please Google that so I want to make sure I'm not speaking out of turn.
He did say 40 years. And
but I believe it was the 1980s specifically.
He's currently 73 years old, and he retired from the NBA in 1986. He went and played in Europe after that.
Okay, so he got this nickname in the 80s, Iceman.
But he was drafted in the early 70s.
Yeah, but he didn't get the nickname Iceman at that time.
He didn't?
I don't believe so. I believe he got it later on during
when he was with the Spurs for 11 years, so maybe somewhere in there.
I don't want to speak out of turn because I cannot fully.
Well, he only played for the Bulls for like a year or whatever.
Well, here's the deal. Here's just the fact. The nickname is Iceman. 95 million fucking people have had this nickname. For instance, did you call the writers of Top Gun and complain about Val Kilmer being Iceman? If so, he's probably the most famous Iceman that exists.
Rest in peace.
Did you perhaps call famous Uncanny X-Men writer and illustrator, I believe it was Jack Kirby, who created Iceman Bobby Drake for the X-Men, who has now been a member of the Marvel Universe since 1963. Does George Kirby get to come out and Jack Kirby get to come out and sue you all for this trademark? It's a fucking nickname.
Yeah.
Get the fuck over yourselves. And also, you all gave yourselves the fucking nickname. You goddamn clowns.
I do love, so I respect someone who gives themselves a nickname and it sticks. I think that that's really funny. I also think it's like way cooler if someone gives you the nickname. Like obviously that's what you want. The best thing you want someone to give you a nickname, that's whatever. But like Kobe called himself the Black Mamba. Stuck. Love it.
Good job. You gave yourself a nickname.
If you give yourself the right nickname and it works, great.
But good news, there were no other Black Mambas. Iceman is like...
And I will say...
I ran into an Iceman every 3 years.
Well, and like if you were going to be mad about this, you should have been mad, in the 1980s when Maverick or when Top Gun was a thing. Now, my personal issue with it is this. If you wanted to market yourself and merchandise Iceman as George Gervin in 2026, why wasn't it already patented? You weren't selling merch. You weren't selling that because if you had, as a celebrity, you would have already had to obtain the patent. That would have already happened.
And if nothing else, you should be happy.
So this is a fuck you bullshit. Like he's just being petty.
Yes.
And as far as I'm concerned, like you're 73 years old. Nobody is buying George Gervin merch in 2026.
Nobody knows who George Gervin is.
I mean, like, I know who he is. And like,
a little.
Like, and like people over the age of 50 certainly do. But like, nobody's like out like buying. I think you and I could sell more merch at this point than George Gervin
Guys,
could. And so like, this is a petty fuck you move. And as soon as you become petty for the sake of being petty because you're an old man trying to hold on to your legacy, now I'm pissed. Okay, now I'm on Caleb Williams.
He's George Gervin.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer.
Cool. It's a basketball player from the 1970s. I don't care about any athletes from the 1970s.
That is my point, Cody.
I'm agreeing with you. No one gives a shit.
It doesn't sound like you are.
If
Your
you
tone
are,
of voice
no.
is insane.
If you are somebody, I'm going to make this abundantly clear. If you are somebody that Mad Dog Christopher Russo will get on the air and actually name drop, it means no one gives a fuck about you. So,
yeah, if
no one cares.
If you're part of a Bill Simmons soliloquy, and then no one gives a fuck.
Then no one gives a shit. It's 2026. No one remembers athletes from 10 goddamn years ago, let alone 1976, and what your nickname was in the early 80s.
And the crazy fucking part is that like Caleb Williams is going to find a way to, patent and sell his merch, and he's going to make a lot of money from it because he's a superstar in the NFL and he is actually famous right now.
And by the way,
and what he could have done is actually if George Gervin had gone to him and been like, hey man, like, so here's the deal. I've never merchandised this. I didn't patent it. Is there a way we could cut a deal here? Because like, I'd love to see you shine, succeed, do all that stuff, but also like, this is something I've kind of like, this is me kind of giving up a part of something that like means a lot to me, blah, blah, blah. Have a conversation with the young man. Believe it or not, Caleb Williams is a pretty good fucking kid. He's a really good dude.
Seems like it.
We've heard nothing but like, he's a good kid. Why does this always have to turn into like the ownership? And that's how we get into the media part of this.
Yes.
Because the most insufferable old man outside of his own former partner in crime, Skip Bayless, decided to take personal offense on behalf of George Gervin. And this is something that drives me nuts. I know you well enough to know there's no way you like this bullshit either. Skip Bayless tweets, I'm a Caleb Williams fan, but I was a much bigger Iceman Gervin fan. And I'm offended Caleb and co are trying to steal George's all-time great nickname. I unleash on today's Arena Gridiron, and that's his podcast. So Caleb Williams responds and basically says like, yeah, also words matter, Skip. Steal, that's insane. So the reality is that I have seen this, the only time I see this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, the only time I see someone in media say that they are offended by something athletes are doing to each other like this, like offended on behalf of a professional athlete who doesn't give a fucking single fuck about them, is old men. Like, what is this whole thing about being offended on this has nothing to do with you. Why can't these motherfuckers just give their opinion? Say you think it's cheesy. Say you think it's not cool. Tell us do what you and I just did. We just had a whole conversation about what we think about the situation without giving a personal feeling about it, because neither one of us knows George Gervin or Caleb Williams. For us to be offended on behalf of people we don't fucking know that in a situation that has nothing to do with us is bizarre. Why do they fucking do it, Cody? Tell me about your old man brethren.
I'm 39 years old.
No, that's what I'm saying. The old men of your kind.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
So sorry.
I am white. That is true.
No, the old men of your kind. Of course, you are young and in your prime.
I want to make this abundantly clear. Skip Bayless. You know nothing fuckwit. Look close. Stick to the things you're really good at, like your amazing takes on Iran, or something about, I don't know, a quarterback for the Cowboys being gay that made you fucking famous. You worthless fuck. I don't know how you're offended by someone trying to trademark the word Iceman. It's only because you are a petty little child who literally must have read the first, not even paragraph, just the first line of Eric Bischoff's book where he said controversy creates cash. You're so desperate to make yourself relevant in a world of your own irrelevance. You were irrelevant when I was on the TV show right before you. You were irrelevant after your co-host left and you were made even more irrelevant. You're more irrelevant now than this fucking chair over here, because this chair serves a fucking purpose. You're an old man. Shut the fuck up. Also, your plastic surgery looks like shit.
You know what's so funny, too? Trying to stay relevant by taking George Gervin's side in a 2026 beef. Like, in a 2026 beef, taking the side of a 1970s NBA player.
Because that'll get the kids all the clicks.
Genuinely insane.
You are, just stick to Iran. That was a real killer take, my guy.
I don't even know what his take on Iran was.
Fuck.
But I don't fucking care.
He's an idiot.
Yeah. And it's really funny because both him and Stephen A. Smith are pissing us off today.
Stephen A. Smith always pisses me off. But this is actually interesting because here's the thing. I fucking can't stand Stephen A. Smith. He is a worthless person. That being said, the only person that has ever been in this industry that might be more worthless is like somehow living rent-free in Stephen A. Smith's head and only his head because Jason Whitlock is such a fucking nothing. I don't know what to do with myself.
So that's the craziest part about this is as much as we all know Stephen A. Smith at this point is like a shill. He provides absolutely nothing to the sports media landscape. There is nothing of value to pull from Stephen A. Smith in media anymore. However, there was a time for a while where I understood exactly where his importance in the industry was. I understood where he came from and how he like actually helped push sports media into a direction that became quite kind of like
awful,
trailblazing, but like regardless of how you feel about it, they ushered in the debate show era, all this stuff.
Yes, the worst thing that's ever happened to all of us.
And at one point, he was a actual writer and reporter, as Skip was. Now, here's the thing: both, as bad as we hate Stephen A. Smith, like Jason Whitlock is
so much worse.
Is like a bad person?
No, Jason Whitlock is just a fat piece of shit.
No, it's not. No, it's not just that.
No, it's not just that.
He's unsettling to be around.
Yes.
In a way that can only be described by people who've been in a room with him.
I sadly have.
As have I. It's not, and you are not a woman.
And
I will tell you right now, it's different when you are a woman to be around someone like Jason Whitlock. And I'm not saying he even said anything specific to me. He doesn't need to. And everybody knows it. So like when I'm sure you remember when Cam Newton was on Joy Taylor's podcast, it went viral and there was he asked her about Jason Whitlock. She was on his podcast. However it went. They were on each other's podcast in some capacity. And because he had made a comment about how Joy was distracting to work with because she always had her boobs out and like what was he supposed to do and blah blah blah, right?
In fairness, I was always distracted by Jason Whitlock because he always had his boobs out as well.
He also has his boobs out as well.
So that was distracting for me.
And I love Joy, like we are very friendly. Like that's a colleague that I really care.
I've never met Joy, and everyone that I know and trust that does know Joy only says the nicest possible things about her. Yeah. I truly don't know her, but
No, she's great. And her response was essentially like the best thing ever, which was like, I would never give that man the time of day to even have this conversation. And that's because there is nothing to say other than like, he's an unsettling person to be around. And him continue he's remained in the level of relevance that he even clings on to, because people feel the need to repeatedly disprove his bullshit, right? Like, it's like him and Sage Steele, they spout their MAGA bullshit, they spout their far-right Christian bullshit, they spout their, and there's something about that irks people in the sports media space to the point where they engage with it. So Cam Newton, our beloved rocket scientist Cam Newton,
let's all calm down with that.
Is gonna engage with him.
I'm gonna say you're Cam Newton on this one.
This is really irking Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark specifically. And
I'm sorry, before you get into it.
No, please don't. We can't shit talk Ryan Clark. He's already yelled at me on Threads before.
I'll shit talk Ryan Clark.
I'm
but
tired of getting yelled at.
I just want to say,
yeah,
to their credit, I understand why these two are irked by it.
Oh, yes. So
I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually might be on their side.
Okay, let's go through it. That's why we got to go through it, right? No, I feel you. So Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Clark both beefing with Cam Newton over this decision to interview Whitlock, who is the apparently, this is how they describe they describe him as the arch rival of Stephen A. Smith.
Okay.
And for some reason, Smith can't quit Jason Whitlock, which keeps the largely forgotten man in the headlines and makes him relevant, which is like, this is the whole thing with Stephen A. Smith is like, if you just stop talking about Jason Whitlock, he would never, like, no one fucking cares. So Ryan Clark also jumped on this as well. And after Cam decided he was going to go ahead with this, because Stephen A. Smith is taking it personally because Cam Newton's on First Take.
Okay.
Ryan Clark says, if someone shows you love, has you on their show twice a week, at least, you don't bring his known enemy on your show and allow your guests to talk shit about that person. That's not G at all. Loyalty is at a minimum these days. So, Ryan Clark has had some of the best NFL sort of live take moments in the last couple of years, and then also is genuinely turning into this weird sort of Threads Twitter troll.
I think he's insufferable as fuck.
That's not what I said.
Okay.
We're not talking about his disposition.
Okay, so
I'm telling you point blank, there was one human being on television that understood how to handle Damar Hamlin, and it was Ryan Clark.
Did he really? Did he handle that well?
In the moment, live, he was the only person who understood the moment and really handled it well.
I don't remember that.
He absolutely has a great connection with players and understanding of things, and he is also somebody who I've seen admit that they were wrong and apologize live on camera several times.
Good.
He also seems to sort of continue to get himself into beefs. So I will always give someone credit when they are clearly willing to call themselves to task.
That's good.
I also think he's a lot lately, and that's fine because people think I'm a lot sometimes. So it is what it is. So Cam, in response to all of this, said, I will always do me and continue to do me. And everybody who tried to change me, it's not going to happen because I am very secure and understand who I want for me. He then addressed Clark directly. So you mean to tell me that you're going to tell me who I can and can't have on my platform? This was never about Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith. The reason why I decided to bring Jason Whitlock on 4th and 1 was because Jason Whitlock has strong takes that I wanted to talk man to man about. And what better way to ease all that than through conversation? It's my job as a creator to bring people together to have an uncomfortable conversation. He shared his respect and appreciation for Clark as a fellow content creator and former athlete who opened doors for him and others. And he said, one thing that's not going to happen is a puppet string attached to my back. Every single coach, player that I've ever played with, I don't know what that means. I'm going to do things how I want to do them respectfully.
Okay.
So that's kind of where it ended, which is I respect you guys, but I'm going to do this. It is what it is. I don't know why you feel like you're going to control this. I appreciate the fact that you guys have ushered me into this and you've mentored me. I will say, before you get into your opinion, I just want to remind people that Cam Newton's one of the most famous football players of the 21st century.
Yes.
He did not need Ryan Clark and Stephen A. Smith to get him on television.
Nope.
So I do think having mentorship and people who are willing to take you under their wing is great.
Okay.
He could have gotten on TV at any single moment. He's Cam Newton.
You're giving Ryan Clark a lot of credit for his mentorship.
Right.
I am not. I am.
And you do need some level of mentorship heading into television. I don't think Cam even
But
takes
I also
mentorship,
watch
to be quite
Ryan Clark
honest.
on television, and anyone that wants his mentorship, that's on them.
I actually disagree.
That's okay.
I don't. Your bar for TV athletes needs to lower. Like it just genuinely does. Like who do you actually think does a good job breaking down the NFL? Just for some as a former athlete. Just let's
I
be
really
honest.
do like Schlereth's work. I think he does a pretty good job.
Yeah, like this is how I know you're fucking crazy. Schlereth hasn't known what the fuck he's talking about for 10 years.
His breakdown of the actual game, play-by-play, he's
No,
fantastic.
no.
Jeff Schwartz does a good job, even though he's not in the mainstream very much these days.
Oh boy.
But if we're going mainstream people simply out of, are we just
Well,
looking?
Schlereth is pretty mainstream, or he was for a while.
He's been a little taken aback, but he's more just doing more play-by-play right now.
Yeah, play-by-play is like one thing, but somebody who's just like yakking about the game, because like realistically, there's only so many people.
I can
doing
only
it,
count who has
and-
been put in front of me, unfortunately, and who's being put in front of me is Dan Orlovsky and Clark.
Yeah, I mean,
so
like
I'm not getting.
obviously as far as former players are concerned, like any of the quarterbacks. You give a fuck about Ryan Fitzpatrick? You give a fuck about,
No. Ryan Fitzpatrick is doing the
I hate him,
Fitzmagic
yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
not great. Sherman, same thing.
Sherm doesn't do
I'm actually
anything.
gonna go a step further here. I can't think of anyone. I actually starting to think of ex-players that are actually doing a really great job on the NFL side.
And part of that is because of what we've talked about with media in general,
Yeah.
is that we're just whittling ourselves down to like hot take bullshit. And
yeah,
so
I'm
if you're
trying to
gonna
think.
whittle shit down to hot take
Jesus.
bullshit, it's what you're gonna end up feeding into, and that's where you lead. Formerly thoughtful. Like, because if you go back a few years, Ryan Clark was somebody who was really good at breaking down the game and being thoughtful about the cultural stuff. He does a lot of talking about like black culture and
he
like
does.
all that stuff, which I think is really important on his podcast. He
I
brings
agree.
that in. And so like but like realistically, there's just not a lot of people doing it any better. And Cam Newton is bombastic and over the top.
No, but
and
he's
that's
the same thing though.
exactly
But no,
what everybody else is doing.
But this is the thing, like. Here's the ultimate thing. I don't give a shit about almost any of this because
Yeah.
none of these people have any information about anything about sports or breakdowns that they even care to share with us all that much.
Cam Newton both Cam Newton and Ryan Clark will give you information about the game that you don't understand.
Sure, if they're prompted to on something that's not on any of these television shows, they just don't do that.
No, they do. They
I've
do.
watched. It's just the same shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's NFL season stuff. It's definitely not like on First Take really very often, but like if you see them doing the NFL, like the football actual segments on ESPN or whatever else during the season, they'll break down the game, which is interesting. But again, we don't get a lot of that. We get a lot of the hot take shit.
We get all the other shit. And that's the shit this is the shit, this squabbling shit we're getting. Also, I do take umbrage on the Ryan Clark, the guy that's letting you on his show. Fuck off. Like it's
So you're moving away from taking Ryan Clark's side.
I've never really had his side. I just kind of, if I have to pick a side,
Okay.
if I have no fucking choice, gun to my head, I have to pick one of these dog shit
You
sides.
have to take either Ryan and Steven
I have
side or
to. You're
Cam's
telling me I have to
side.
take Ryan Clark and Stephen A. Smith being upset at Cam for interviewing the most repulsive fuck in the world?
Yeah.
Then I guess I'm on Ryan Clark's side. But that's like saying, whose side were you on in World War II, Stalin or Hitler? Well, I had no real choice but be on Stalin's side on this one.
Italian. Oh no, Mussolini. That's my side.
There was no winning.
No, it's bad. It's bad news bears all around. I do think that like there is I feel like I wish people would stop. I get tired of people just expecting Cam Newton to be anything but what he is. Cam doesn't like come for people.
No, not
he
really.
just is Cam.
That being said,
he's a kind of a joke. He's misogynistic. He's sexist as fuck. By the way, Ryan Clark, SAS, have no problem with him being misogynistic as all hell on his podcast.
No, just as long as they don't say something bad about Stephen A. Smith.
If he talks to Jason Whitlock, that's where they draw the line. Like Cam's saying some absurd shit about and to women on his podcast regularly, and they're like, "But why are you talking to Jason Whitlock?"
Can we break this down quicker? Why is Ryan Clark pretending that Stephen A. Smith is respected by athletes? He's not. Like, that's the other thing. Like, I don't know anyone that respects Stephen A. Smith, not only in the sports industry, but athletes. Also, there's not one athlete I've ever met, not one, that's on television with him, that has a single nice thing to say about him.
He
so I don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Everybody he works with under the bus.
Every single time.
So why would you be loyal to him?
I truly do not comprehend what the fuck Ryan Clark's talking about. Yeah. That being said, fuck Cam Newton for doing that. But also, I don't like anyone in this situation. I hope you all fucking kill each other.
I can't find it in my heart. And like, I don't know what it is. I cannot find it in my heart to give a fuck I just don't care. To feign anger that Cam Newton's interviewing Jason Whitlock. It's like the least surprising thing to me. Like, I have a standard of what I expect from Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm. And what are you expecting him to push back on? Like, that's the other thing. What are you expecting Cam Newton, like Ryan Clark? This is my question for Ryan Clark. Just realistically, not even like angry. You know Cam Newton. You're just right now spouting out. He says sexist shit that you go along with. He says stupid shit that you go along with. What about Cam Newton and your mentorship? You and SAS, just amazing mentorship, made you believe he was going to give an interview and push back on fucking anything. That's my question. Like, I'm baffled by your guys' view of the world that you thought this was real.
And I appreciate that Ryan Clark himself on his podcast pushes back at people.
I appreciate that
he does that. He is capable of doing that. I am so impressed that Ryan Clark had the kind of fucking career that he had, where he took the amount of hits that he had and still works his ass off every single day. Like, I genuinely have respect for him as a football player, the same way I respect Cam, by the way, for pushing his body to an extreme in that game. For both of these guys kind of took an absolute beating in the league, and it's just exhausting. I don't care. I think Cam Newton got so much unnecessary hate as a football player that I really have zero interest in aligning myself with Stephen A. Smith to attack him at this point. Now, when Cam Smith and this has been going back since I was a writer for USA Today and all these, I will call Cam Newton on his shit. Mm-hmm. Every time. The misogyny, the bullshit. He went to a school full of children and said misogynist shit. This guy is a real pain in my ass when it comes to that. I also feel like at some point we need to just stop acting like we expect anything different from these people than what they're capable of giving us. I also would rather watch Cam Newton talk about football than Ryan Fitzpatrick, who played for 49 different NFL teams. I agree with that too. Than fucking one of the Hasselbecks, whatever one they plan to hand me at any given fucking moment. No, the people you're rolling out, I don't give a fuck. So if you're gonna give me former quarterbacks talking about football, you got Tom Brady in the booth, you got Peyton Manning on the Manningcast. Let him talk about football. You guys are the ones who constantly have him talking about bullshit he shouldn't be fucking talking about.
Sure do.
So, anyways, that's that. That is that in Media Corner. We decided that we are taking no one's side. We hate everything involved.
No, I took my side reluctantly.
No, you did.
You made me choose a side.
You took a side, and I took Cam's side. Again, which is horrifying because I did.
I'm not going to lie to you. Based on this whole conversation, I'm not outside.
Because I don't like Ryan Clark. I mean, I don't like Ryan Clark coming for him and Stephen A. Smith coming for him over something that's
that I agree with.
That's we should just expect. But I hate
you just
Jason
expect
Whitlock.
Blind loyalty is a fucking wild thing to say in print, by the way.
And I hate Jason Whitlock, and I hate that he gets these
How about this? I don't particularly like anyone involved. I hate two of them, and I don't really care about the other two. And you can figure out who this is pretty easily.
No, you hate SAS and Jason Whitlock, and you don't care about
I said this at Radio Row, sitting on stage with Michelle Beadle while we were doing our show, and we looked over there and we saw Mad Dog talking with Stephen A. And we looked over there, we see just other people throughout the industry, and I just said to Michelle I think it was even on the air, I'm like, Michelle, just looking at this room of people, all these self-important, nonsensical people who truly know nothing. If a comet hit this building right now, us as a society, we wouldn't lose much.
We'd be better off, maybe.
We might be better.
Yeah, but who would debate about Iran on First Take?
Got me there. Let's get Skip out here. Let's dust off that old fucking 79-year-old who knows so much.
Someday we're gonna, you know this by the way. I hate to break this to you, but someday we're gonna get the insufferable Skip Bayless SAS reunion, and it's.
Well, it's nice that you say that. You know what I hope for is that the world ends first.
Okay. Well, before we do that, can we discuss what my Reply Guys situation? Because we're our final
time for Reply Guys.
Our final segment is Reply Guys. This is where we go through whatever random shit people are saying to me on the internet at any given moment. I haven't filled you in on this drama because I thought that it would be fun to deliver to you fresh and funky.
I love that.
This is what me and my Threads community have dubbed Kneegate.
Okay.
And what, we're going to kind of work out what exactly is going on here, because there's a couple things that happened both in this, but specifically in response to it from people who were supporting me that are huge pet peeves of mine.
Interesting.
So we're going to discuss it. But first, I'm going to have, I'm going to pull up this wild comment that I got on an Instagram reel of mine from last week.
Okay.
So Mocha, if you could pull up the first thing. This is a comment I got on my reel. It says, love your take and content, but I have a serious question as I can't help but notice your legs sticking up in this post. Do you believe it's necessary for females to lean on sex appeal in sports journalism to be successful? Not being an a-hole, and I didn't want to DM you because that would be creepy. I just instantly thought, why is her leg in the frame? I think the same thing when they show certain angles on news or sports talk shows, this being a little different in that you produce this content. Then he tries to give me a compliment.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to warn everybody before I put this next photo up. I'm going to show you the leg that he is referring to that's revealed in my post. I need you guys to understand, extremely sexual content.
Okay.
This is a screenshot of the video he commented on, and that is the leg in question. So just for everybody sees, that's my kneecap. And this is what was at stake in the whole conversation. How are you feeling, Cody? Are you okay with seeing that much of my body? Are you upset?
It's a fucking knee. There are photos of you, I believe, in like bikinis in your fucking...
Very tiny ones. I announced my layoff in a bikini, and then it was shared all over the internet.
But that's your fucking... It's your knee.
Cap. Knee.
I mean, listen, yes. I don't mean to be creepy.
Pull it back up again.
I don't mean to be creepy. It's a very sexy kneecap.
Thank you.
I will call Chris, and I will let Chris know that his wife has got the sexiest caps in the game.
That's what I'm talking about.
But that's a kneecap. Mm-hmm. Did this guy message you from like 1963 Gilligan's Island, be like, we can't show a navel. We cannot show a navel on television.
So here's the thing. So this is kind of why I wanted to bring this into the conversation.
By the way, yeah, way too sexy. What was that topic on? Was that like on Darfur?
Probably.
Okay, cool. Because if that's the case, little sex appeal during the Darfur conversation.
I actually forget what this video was even about because it was so like this is taking over the whole thing. But here's the thing is, so I post this and I'm like, kneecaps are a problem, right? Now you need to understand.
Yeah. I
have gotten comments on my videos about seeing my like bare shoulders, about seeing my cleavage, about seeing my stomach, about me wearing shorts. Like if there is a man who can in some way, shape, or form undermine what I'm saying, even if they are trying to be complimentary, they will find something about the video and then like take it to the next level of being like, oh, that's that I'm distracted by this. The way I use my hands, whatever else. Men do this a lot. So I share this on Threads. The response is any version of, is this guy have a knee fetish? Is this rage bait? Is this whatever? Everybody's having fun with it. Love it. Like my followers are having a great time with it. They're very sweet. Like everybody was like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah. Very understanding. Here's what I need people to understand. I have seen a version of this type of comment so many times in my life since I entered this industry. This started with my own bosses at these places where it's like, hey, I know everybody else who's on TV wears heels and skirts, but you aren't on TV and it's distracting. Where I came in one day and there was a dress code nailed to a fucking, like taped to the door that was inspired by the fact that I was wearing tank tops.
What?
In the summer.
In LA?
No, this was in Massachusetts, but it's
But that's
summer.
even worse. That's humid as shit.
Yes. So I have been like this weird idea of like what you are and aren't supposed to be doing in a video has been going on for a long time. So what I want to share is there are two pet peeves that happen in people who try to support me in this situation that I don't even know if you necessarily would clock this. So I'm going to share it with you.
Please do. I want to learn
as a friend,
man.
as a co-host,
As an ally.
as an ally. One thing I hate is when people say, oh, what is this? You know, essentially are like, this guy's a weirdo who loves knees, or this guy's a weirdo who blah, blah, blah. Because the reality is this is a power tactic. It's what men do in comment sections when they are uncomfortable with the fact that they were distracted by something. Anybody who's noticing that my bare knee is in the video is somebody who has been trained to notice these types of things. They've been like conditioned across the course of their lives to say, like, if I can see certain parts of someone's body or whatever else, that's their problem that they need to take care of because it's not mine. Mm-hmm. This guy doesn't have a knee fetish. It's like, I understand people think it's funny and it's like whatever, but it's not funny when you hear about every single part of your body at some point in some time over and over and over again. It's not fetish. This is how men behave when they feel like they can't be in control of the way that they react to certain stuff. He was thinking that he was like, this is a great video, but I was distracted by the fact that I could see her leg. That's real. That's exactly what fucking happened. What he said happened. The problem is not that this guy has some weird funny knee fetish. The problem is that men genuinely feel like they are distracted by specific things in these videos and they shouldn't have to be. He specifically mentioned that there's certain ways people stand or like angles or things people are wearing on broadcasts that distract him. This is not a new concept. I see it all the time. My coworkers have told me. My fucking commenters have told me. Like, this is something that I've dealt with so many times, and it's not really super cute and funny to reduce it to like jokes about it being a fetish.
Yeah.
When it's like, it's actually just way more basic than that. The guy's a fucking misogynist.
Yeah.
The second thing.
Yes.
And this one's and you'll know this too, because this is actually something you probably have experienced.
Real quick, can I just say real quick? I'm very proud that I am not in group 1. Let's find out if I'm in group 2.
Let's find out.
I might be. I don't know.
No, I actually think that you might have experienced this.
Okay.
Rather than have perpetrated it. But the insistence that everything that someone says that's objectionable is rage bait.
Oh,
so
yes.
I recently posted a thing where I said, do not attribute to rage bait what can more easily be attributed to bigotry and ignorance.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of times on social media, when someone says something wildly offensive, there is this tendency to be like, rage bait, don't respond to it, don't deal with it. It's rage bait. Or they'll call it like, what is this guy, rage baiting? And it's like, no, like the reality is that 95% of the stupid, horrific, sexist, bigoted bullshit that you read on social media is people who are sexist, bigoted, racist people or are willfully ignorant. Rage bait is a very specific thing that is someone's doing to intentionally literally make you mad, but they have to also not believe it in order for it to be bait.
Okay.
Like there's this like very specific thing where it's like, I know that this is bullshit, but I'm going to bait them with it.
So,
most of the time people are just awful.
No, you're right. And I would love to actually give you my experience in this.
Great.
Because you're right. I do have experience in this. But I have experience this in both ways. Early days of social media, especially early days of Twitter, when Twitter was a much nicer place. It was not always nice, but there were times, of course, where
really
it was
fun. There was a time where Twitter
was
awesome.
was absolutely the best app that ever existed.
I wish we knew each other back then on
Me
Twitter.
too.
I don't know how we didn't cross
We would have
paths.
been fucking buddies.
I know. What the hell?
But I will admit, at the time, because of how Twitter was and how the engagement was, and I wasn't doing this to get clout or anything like that, but like I would honestly say things that weren't necessarily true, or like I would exaggerate things just to get a conversation going. And it would be something that or maybe wouldn't lie, but I would exaggerate a take a little bit more. I would say something along on Christmas Eve. I'm like, Christmas Story is the very worst Christmas movie of all time. Come fight me.
Sure.
And I would deal with that. I do not like Christmas Story, by the way, but I don't think it's the worst Christmas movie. I don't think it's great.
It is stressful.
I find it to be a truly off-putting movie.
Yeah, I know why people like it. I also know why I don't rewatch it.
I find the movie a chore to watch. But that's my opinion, not yours. That doesn't mean anyone's wrong for disliking it, but I would take the argument of you are wrong that you like this.
Yeah.
I stopped doing that years ago, and I'll tell you why. And it's because that quote-unquote quote, which is clearly some rage bait, can be very convoluted by people's actual thoughts now. Because now that everybody's bigotry and misogyny and transphobia and homophobia is all, and racism, blatant racism, is just out in the open now, there's no need for any rage baiting anymore.
Right.
People's actual thoughts are just plainly out there, and that's enough to create more than enough rage. I don't need to rage bait.
That's exactly right. That is exactly what it is. Like, that is exactly my experience, is that it's like, do you understand that so much of this is not bait? It's just rage.
It's just rage.
That. Like, you are witnessing people's real, genuine thoughts about the world, and to reduce it to rage bait, to continue to be like, just rage bait, you're actually undermining something genuinely problematic by saying they know what they're doing. They are holding sexist, racist, misogynist beliefs. They're willfully ignorant of very important things. And we actually should not call that rage bait, because it's important that we know it's not.
Yeah.
It's important that you understand it's not. It's important that you understand that when someone makes a weird comment like that, it's far more insidious than just a weirdo who loves knees or rage bait or bullshit. That is misogyny I deal with all the time and have since I was 23 years old in this industry.
Well, have you considered maybe wearing knee pads?
And that's the thing, and part of it's on me. I haven't. I never have. And in honor of it, I have cleavage out.
You have cleavage and your stomach is out. And I'm going to tell you, I haven't been able to pay attention to a single story today. I don't know why you're doing this. Are you trying to get people to subscribe to the show? Well, listen, thank God that you're wearing basically no clothes, because we need you all to like, share, and subscribe. That's right. Share, and subscribe,
the hole
because
will get bigger on the cleavage area.
I might wear a sleeveless shirt next week.
We can sex you out as well.
Dude, don't think I'm not afraid to buck the fucking patriarchy.
Absolutely.
I'm ready to fucking sex people. I'll open up a fucking button. I'm gonna let some chest hair out right now. Let's go, baby. Well, listen, I'm sorry. I know we said on Monday we would get to the bloody sock. We'll get to the bloody sock on Monday.
Yeah.
We do have a comprehensive breakdown. Specifically me, I have DNA evidence that the bloody sock was indeed marinara, and I'm looking forward to presenting my point, and we will get to that on Monday.
I mean, I don't think we're going to get to it on Monday, because I don't believe that you actually have this evidence, and I think you're going to continue stalling. And I'm not going to lie, at this point, I'm starting to take it personally that you won't just take me on fully on this topic. I think you're afraid of this. I think you're afraid of me, of my expertise. I think you know how much I know about baseball in comparison to you. As a professional baseball player, you don't want to get embarrassed by somebody who's just a fan. And I think you're afraid of that.
We will discuss this on Monday, but until then, just so you can wet the palate, like, share, and subscribe right here to this show, wherever you get your favorite podcast, and of course, most importantly, right here on YouTube. And we are going to be looking very hard, starting next week, on actually doing this show live, not just on YouTube, but potentially Twitch, Twitter, and we're going to work on Instagram as well.
It would be on very likely we're going to do it on my Instagram, because
she's got a bigger following.
Y'all be following me on there.
She's got a bigger following on Instagram. Yeah. I have no ego in this.
It's because of the knees.
It's because her
now,
knees are just
would be showing your knees
so
more,
fucking hot.
You too could have 50,000 Instagram followers. It's all
I gotta start showing off my knees.
Or sometimes it's in the bloody ankle.
It's in the bloody sock. No, I have evidence. I'm gonna demolish her with this evidence. But listen, one thing we can agree on no matter what is...
And we always agree on this.
Fuck you, Kurt Schilling.
Fuck you, Kurt Schilling.
Oh, fuck you.